Today, let's talk about how to build a pistol rest out of scraps that you may already have around the house. What's up, crew? Welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, just want to remind you to like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. Today, we're going to talk real quick about how I built my own adjustable pistol rest. Now, for years, I've had and used this Pistolero rest from Caldwell Shooting Supplies. And while this is a good rest and it served me well, it's made out of plastic, as you can see. A few days ago, it broke, so now it's worthless. Now, I looked all over the internet, looked at a bunch of different rests, most of them ranging between about 30 and 50 bucks, some of them a little more expensive than that. Really did not want to spend that kind of money on a rest, at least not right now with the current situation. For those that may be watching later down the road, it's April 2020 and we're dealing with this whole virus issue. So after digging around in the barns and the workshop, I found some components that I thought would work to build my own adjustable pistol rest, and I think I did a pretty good job. Let's take a closer look at how it's put together. Now, the first thing you're going to have to come up with is something to use for a base, and that can be 3/4 inch plywood, maybe some 1x lumber, something like that. And for me, I wanted some standoffs. I wanted some legs on the bottom, so needed some additional lumber for that. Now here we're looking at the bottom side of the platform for the rest. You can see how I cut triangles for the legs on all four corners and put a block in the center. You may be wondering why I put a block in the center, and that's because I really I wanted less of a potential, I should say, for this decking material to bow, since I will be using some sandbags on it from time to time. Now let's take a look at the front of the rest, at the adjustable part. You can see it kind of starts out with a couple of pieces of 1x2 lumber. Now, if you're using 1x lumber on the base here or the legs, then obviously you could rip down 2 small pieces for the adjustable parts here. Then from there, you kind of got some hardware. Going to require some all thread. That's what this is. You could also potentially use some really long carriage bolts, and the size would just depend on what you have laying around. These are 3/8 inch. Now, on the top and bottom here, we've got nylon nuts because I wanted those to lock in. I didn't want any rough edges from the all thread. It's kind of why I did it on the top, really the only reason. And of course, the bottom, you want it to tighten up really well and not back out. Now, if you're wondering about the little piece on the base, this is to give a little more thickness here and a little more rigidity for these rods that go up. They're going to tend to not want to wobble on you quite as much if you've got a little thicker area on the base where they go through. And of course, I've secured the all thread in place with a washer and double nuts. Now you can see here we can raise and lower the platform here via the 4 wing nuts we have, and also with each of these wing nuts we do have a washer. Now, one of the parts you may not have laying around is going to be this V right here. Now, you could improvise this. You could cut a V out of a piece of wood and screw that in there. Maybe put some felt or something on it so it's not so rough. It just so happened I had a shooting stick that was broken, and so I robbed the top off and threw this in a drawer, I don't know, quite some time ago, and hey, it's come in handy. So there is my example of a low-cost, do-it-yourself pistol rest. Before you leave, I do got a question. Do you use a pistol rest? Hey, if so, let me know what type down in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Till next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.